Okay, good morning, everybody. Everybody on YouTube, everybody here this morning. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's a special meeting Tuesday, July 14th, 2020, 10 a.m. And Kathy, you want to lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Deborah, you going to do the prayer?
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads before thee this morning and give thee thanks for the many blessings that thou hast given to us. We're grateful to be able to meet in this setting as we present the budget and tax information to the authorities of Gila County, and pray that thy guidance and direction will be with them as they ponder and research the things that they need to know for the betterment of our society and our county. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity we have of living in this land of America and for the freedoms that we enjoy. We're grateful for the first responders and those who are helping with the COVID crisis that we have going on, and we pray that thy guidance and safety will be with them. Watch over us this day and help us accomplish the things that we set out to do, and these things we pray for and thank thee for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Debbie. Okay. So one thing I want to bring out, just to remind everybody, especially those of you who are watching on YouTube, and hopefully there's a bunch on YouTube today. So these public hearings we're going to have today on all this. Remember, if you want to respond or comment, and to do so through that YouTube channel, and we can get it. So just a reminder. So with that, I'll go on to 2A, public hearings. I'll need a motion to adjourn as a Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as a Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I move that we do adjourn as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. So convene a Truth in Taxation, TNT, public hearing to hear from citizens regarding the proposed primary property tax levy rate of 0.2425 per 100 assessed value for fiscal year 2021, excluding amounts that are attributable to new construction and any changes that may occur from property tax levies for voter-approved bonded indebtedness or budget and tax overrides. That is $48,208 greater than the amount allowed without a TNT public hearing, and approve the proposed primary property tax rate levy of 0.2425 per 100 of assessed value for fiscal year 2021. Jackie, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm going to take the mask off while I stand here because I've got the right social distance. So, pretty well what is said in that motion would be what I would be standing here to answer questions about. I will tell you that the tax rate of 24.25 is of 24.25 cents is the tax rate that has been the historical tax rate for the library district. Back around, it was the historical rate, frankly, from the time library district was created. Until about 2002, and at that time, at the county level, there was a need for more funding in the primary rate and the offset so that taxes wouldn't go up, so that rates wouldn't go up. The primary rate went up, and the library district rate went down to 20.25 cents. And in about 2012, so for maybe 9 years, the library district was at 20.25, and in about 2012, the Board of Supervisors put the library tax rate back to 24.25 cents, and it has been 24.25 cents as a rate for about 8 years. Having said that, truth in taxation, so we're establishing the same rate that it has been for approximately 8 years. It's been at least 6. To take the library district down below the truth in taxation rate would mean that the library district would not be able to collect $48,000, and that, from my perspective, the library district office. The purpose of having a library district administrative office is to provide resources, connectivity, and funding to the 8 public libraries. And that amount would definitely negatively impact the services that are provided to the residents. And then I'll answer any questions. I know we've had one written comment for
Okay,
the public hearing part.
Thanks, Jackie. Tommy, you have some questions or comments on this?
My only comment, Mr. Chair, is that I believe our libraries need our help more than ever this year, and I'm very much in support of this. But that's my comment for right now.
Thank you, Tommy. Tim?
I have no comments.
So basically, and I'm glad you gave us that history update on this too, so folks, especially folks that are listening to us on YouTube, have a chance to understand this. So basically, the 48,000 is an increase in assessments for that.
So the 48,000 would be realized by the total value of all property in Gila County has increased higher than inflation.
Right.
And that's it is that language that's written into statute that requires a truth in taxation hearing. So the rate won't change.
No. So thank you for that, Jackie. And with that, I'd like to open up the public hearing part of this. Do we have anything coming off of YouTube?
Before we go to YouTube, we have had one written comment.
You want to read it?
I'd be happy to. We actually, we received the same written comment twice yesterday, so we've received 2, but it's from the same person. So Debbie Seltzer at 1204 East Heather Court, Payson, Arizona, has emailed into the clerk's office twice yesterday. I am writing to state that I am against the Gila County's intention to raise this one is about the other. As I read this, this is about the second TNT. I received them both. So she was against the intention to raise the library district's primary property tax rate over last year's level. With COVID-19 destruction to the local economy, any tax increase at this time would not be responsible. Please voice my concerns at the July 14, 2020 public hearing. So we have one person that wrote in ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackie. And do we have anybody coming off YouTube with anything? And I'm sure you guys don't have anything up there, right, Cheryl?
No, sir.
Okay. James?
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to make a comment that Jackie said that we have to have that because it doesn't cover inflation. Actually, we are allowed inflation, and then by statute, that's what the increase in the market value that is placed on properties by the assessor's office. So that's the inflation part of it. However, we are not allowed for taxes to adjust with the inflation factors. We're by state statute required to have this truth in taxation hearing if we acknowledge the assessor's change to fair market value in properties. So this is by state law, we have to have this hearing. Otherwise, we would not be able to have any inflation factors built into the property tax assessments.
Okay. Thank you, James. Tommy, did that jog anything for you to comment on or ask about?
No, Mr. Chair. I'm good.
Tim, you still good?
I'm good, yes.
And so am I. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would like to present a motion to accept 2A as read.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. And so do I have a second, Tommy?
Second that, Mr. Chair.
So having a motion and a second. All in favor, and you can do the roll call, Jackie? You are. Okay.
Chairman Klein, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Martin, vote please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Marion. Okay, so I'll take a motion to adjourn as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
I'll second that motion.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. 2B, convene a Truth in Taxation TNT public hearing to hear from citizens on the proposed primary tax levy for fiscal year 2021, excluding amounts that are attributable to new construction and any changes that may occur from property tax levies for voter-approved bonded indebtedness or budget and tax overrides. That is $413,218 greater than the allowable levy without a TNT public hearing, and approve the proposed primary property tax levy for fiscal year 2021. Mary Springer, good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Chairman, member supervisors. And this followed along similar to the Truth in Taxation hearing for the Library District. This is for the entire county. And as the county manager indicated, that without this Truth in Taxation hearing, we would not be able to request the $4.19 tax rate, which that tax rate has been the same and has not increased. I believe this is the 11th year. So we're asking the board to hold the public hearing so we can hear citizen input into the Truth in Taxation hearing.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Tommy, you have anything you want to comment on?
No, Mr. Chair, not at this time.
Tim?
I have no questions.
And I am good, so I'll go ahead and open this up for public hearing. And you have one that's written, Jackie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, I do. Debbie Seltzer at 1204 East Heather Court, Payson, Arizona, also sent in a subject property tax increase. I'm writing to state that I am against Gila County's intention to raise its primary property taxes over last year's level. With COVID-19 destruction to the local economy, any tax increase at this time would not be responsible. Please voice my concerns at the July 14, 2020 hearing.
Thank you, Jackie. And do we have anybody on YouTube? Nothing there? So I'll close the public hearings. And Tommy, do you have anything else you want to say?
I do not, Mr. Chair.
Tim, you still good?
I'm good.
The only thing I want to say is it's good to be holding at 419 for this long of a time. That's good. So we're in our 11th year. Is that what you said, Mary?
I believe so.
Good. Good deal. I'm glad of that. So with that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed primary property tax levy for fiscal year 2021.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second. All in favor? And Marion, you'll do the roll call?
Yes, Chairman Klein, your vote, please.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Martin, your vote, please.
I vote aye.
And Supervisor Humphrey.
Aye.
Thank you. The vote passes.
Thank you, Marion. Okay, moving on to 2C. I need a motion to adjourn as Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I move that we do adjourn as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Okay, so this is to convene a public hearing to hear taxpayers who may wish to comment on the fiscal 2021 Gila County Library District tentative budget, which was adopted on June 16th, 2020, or any proposed changes to the library district tentative budget, and adopt the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Library District budget in the amount of $1,332,635. Jackie, you're it again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. So we met on June 16. There have been no changes from the library district's tentative to this final budget. I will tell you that I'm pleased to announce, so when we provide library services across time, our proposed budget is back to pre-2009 levels. We had a downturn in the economy, and it has taken a long time to get back up. Last year it was equal to, and so this is the first year that we have an increase over historical, that you have to go all the way back to 2009 for a library district budget. The bulk of this money is to provide administrative support to 8 rural libraries in Gila County, to serve the residents, which even in times of COVID, libraries are still providing service that includes things like curbside, making appointments to come in and use computers. In one case, one library is checking out computers. We provide Wi-Fi access from the district level so that all the parking lots at libraries, so if folks need to access the Wi-Fi, they may not be able to get in right now, but they can park in the parking lot. We've been doing story times and summer reading programming through YouTube and Facebook Live events. And I'm just here to ask you to approve the final budget.
Thank you, Jackie. Tommy, any comments?
Again, Mr. Chair, I think that I see where in this era of COVID, these libraries are becoming more relevant and more used. I believe they were heavily used before that, but I think they become a very important piece of the conversation. And I think that we need to do everything we can and have the funding to do that. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tommy. Tim?
No comment.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I wanted to also point out that within the total budget includes 3 grants. So we're continuing to do our early literacy outreach and state grants and aid that we pass on to libraries.
That's good. Thank you, Jackie. So with that, I'd like to open up the public hearing. And do we have anything written on this one?
I have
Jackie?
nothing written on this one.
You do not? And do we have anything from the YouTube side? And I'm sure we don't have anything from Payson, right, Cheryl?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'll close that and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Library District budget in the amount of $1,333,635.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 2D. Convene a public hearing. Nope, back up a little bit. I need a motion to adjourn as Gila County Library District Board of Directors and convene as a Gila County Flood Control District Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I move that we do adjourn as a Gila County Library District Board of Directors and convene as the Gila County Flood Control District Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Okay, so moving on to 2D. Convene a public hearing to hear taxpayers who may wish to comment on the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Flood Control District tentative budget, which was adopted on June 16th, 2020, or any proposed changes to the Flood Control District tentative budget, and adopt the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Flood Control District budget in the amount of $239,640. Mary Springer.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, member supervisors. The flood control is a special district within the Gila County budget, so we do single that out. Even though we don't charge a tax rate for that, we still have a budget attributable to flood control, and we're asking the board to approve or adopt this budget of $239,640.
Thank you, Mary. Tommy, any comments or questions?
Not for me, Mr. Chair.
Tim?
Yes, I do. You know, with all the rains and all the burning that's gone on in my district, it seems like we're spending an awful lot of time cleaning roads and culverts, and it's just going to get worse. And when they bill it out, you know, they have to bill it out to HERF funds or wherever the money's coming from. And so having this flood money there for us to work off of for culverts, for cleaning roads after a storm and things of that, is a great necessity. And I'm not so sure that it's even going to be enough, but it's nice to have that because we spend an awful lot of time with our road crews cleaning up after storms. And so I think it's a great thing. And that's all I have.
So James, this $239,000 comes right out of our general fund, right?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, yes, that is correct. We do have the taxing district, flood control taxing district. Gila County does not charge a tax for that district, even though by statute we are authorized to charge up to 50 cents per hundred. We include that with the general fund, and $239,000, as Supervisor Humphrey mentioned, is really not very much for all the projects that we work on, the things that we do to address flooding in the county. Other projects are addressed through our capital outlay funds that are part of the general fund and other funding within the general fund. So it's a struggle because there are a lot of projects. As we said with the Supervisor Humphrey, with the fires and things, it's going to be even that much more challenging the coming years.
So it's good. I mean, if we have a taxing district that we're not collecting taxes from, I think that's good, especially for the people. How did you determine the $239,000 then?
Mr. Chairman, this is mostly for salaries and a few other things that we have regularly, and then we schedule or put other money aside, like I said, in capital projects. So this is mostly just operating costs for those that are within the county that operate the flood control district, and then budget separately for any projects that we are going to work on that are for flood control issues.
Tim's right. As we go on and you know, every year now we've had these fires we've dealt with for the last, well, this makes the fourth year. Fifth, really, I guess. So, and we still don't seem to get any money as far as rehab on from those fires and the problems that they cause. So, yeah, $239,000 isn't very much. I mean, it's a start. That's fine. But I want the people listening on YouTube and watching this meeting to totally understand they're not paying the tax on this. This is coming from somewhere else. There's no tax collected, even though it's a taxing district. So maybe somewhere along the way in this next year or something, we can have more discussions on that. But anyway, either one of you have anything else to say? Tim, you want to add any more?
No,
You're good?
I'm comfortable.
Tommy, you good?
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So with that in mind, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Flood Control District budget in the amount of $239,640.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn as the Gila County Flood Control District Board of Directors and convene as the Board of Directors for the Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts.
Mr. Chair, I again move to adjourn, that we adjourn as the Gila County Flood Control District Board of Directors and convene as the Board of Directors for the Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts.
I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to 2E, convene a public hearing to hear taxpayers who may wish to comment on the fiscal year 2021 Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts tentative budgets, which were adopted on June 16th, 2020, or any proposed changes to the Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts tentative budgets, and adopt the fiscal year 2021 budgets for Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts per the fiscal year 2021 budget schedules entitled Street Lighting Improvement Districts. Mary Springer.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, members, supervisors. In this special district, we have 7 lighting improvement districts, and we're asking the board to approve those budgets or adopt the budgets for the FY 2021 budget year. And I believe the amount is $50,400.
Okay, Mary. Thank you. Tommy, you have any comments?
I do not, Mr. Chair.
Tim?
No, I have no comments.
And neither do I. So I'll open up the public hearing part of this. We don't have even written anything on this, right, Jackie? We're good? And so on YouTube, do we have any? No? So with that, I'll close that and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2021 budget for Gila County Street Lighting Improvement District per the fiscal year 2021 budget scheduled entitled Street Lighting Improvement Districts in the amount of $50,400.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. I have a motion to adjourn as the Board of Directors of the Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
Mr. Chair, I do move that we adjourn as the Board of Directors of the Gila County Street Lighting Improvement Districts and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, 2F, convene a public hearing to hear taxpayers who may wish to comment on the fiscal year 2021 Gila County tentative budget, which was adopted on June 16th, 2020, or any proposed changes to the tentative budget, and adopt resolution number 20-07-04, authorizing the adoption of the fiscal year 2021 Gila County budget in the amount of $118,695,298. That's a lot of numbers there, Maren.
That is a lot of numbers.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. Chair? Thank you, Mr. Chair, members, supervisors. Mary's in Payson, and I'm here this morning. We're going to go through our presentation, which is almost identical to what we presented at tentative adoption on June 16th. And then if there are questions or comments, we'll be happy to hear those. So To begin with, we restate the budget priorities that were given to us by the Board of Supervisors, including that we do not increase the property tax rate, that we operate within our revenue streams, that we maintain our public service levels, provide a balanced budget, and maintain the ongoing capital improvement plan that we financed last year. We have some extraordinary challenges and opportunities going into fiscal year 21, and we reflect those in our budget, including decreased revenue streams due to COVID-19 in our state-shared, county excise, and other revenue areas. We have mitigated those challenges by applying for and being granted from the state Arizona CARES Act funding in the amount of $2.9 million. Our leadership team has been carefully reviewing all vacancies and holding off on hiring as long as possible. We have not increased the number of FTEs, and we are managing all of our projects for cost and timing. In addition, neither the county nor our staff are experiencing an increase in health insurance costs this year, and that is with service levels remaining the same. And all of our department heads did work very hard to keep their departmental budgets flat. And we did not build in a salary increase at the department level. There is a contingency in case the economy rebounds faster than expected. So this slide we added, and it's in the handout we handed out today. We wanted to make sure that both the supervisors and our constituents knew that we have some strengths despite our obstacles this year. Since the tentative budget was adopted on June 16th, we did get our AA credit rating reaffirmed by our friends at Standard & Poor's. That happened on July 1st. That is on the Standard & Poor's website if anyone wants to see it. Included in that Standard & Poor's rating report is our published general fund pledged revenue ratio to our debt service of 4.61. What that means is our debt service, the payment we have to make on last year's bond, is $1.1 million, and the revenue that we have pledged to that is 4.6 times that $1.1 million. So we can always make that debt payment. So we don't have to worry that we don't have the resources available. In addition to that, we wanted to emphasize that the robust communication from all of our department heads and leadership were excellent in this budget planning process. And we've really had good responses, especially when grant funding has become available. You saw at our last meeting, Sarah White and Sheriff Shepard came through with some grant funding that was unexpected, and countywide in health and emergency management and with our own grant coordinator, we've done some really good work since COVID started in making sure that all the resources available to us are coming here and not getting left on the table. The next two slides are repeats from the presentation on the 16th of June. We wanted to make sure everyone had them for today. These show where our revenue streams come from in the general fund. And the highlight here is that in the upper right-hand piece of the pie, that primary property tax of 34%, that means that of every dollar that comes into Gila County, only 34 cents of it is coming from your primary property tax on your residence. And then in our general fund expenditures, we are seeing that general government is costing about 37 cents of every dollar we spend. Courts and law enforcement are costing about 45 cents of every dollar. Access and All-Tex, which is indigent care and care for our elders, is 7%. Health and emergency management is about 4%. Community development is 2%. And then everything else goes into that remaining 5% piece of the pie. When we brought the tentative adoption to you, or tentative budget to you for adoption, we provided this graphic which compares the 2021 tentative to the 2020 adopted. And at that time, we pointed out that the blue-green bars compared to the orange bars show that for 2021, we're going to see an increase in grants and restricted funds compared to 2020, and we're going to see a decrease in capital and debt service compared to 2020. That difference arises because in 2020, we did secure financing in the amount of $10 million for capital projects, and we retired some old debt. So that's why that swing exists. It's not a change in expenditure. And beyond that, we have our Schedule A, which shows our $118,695,298 total financial resources available and total budgeted expenditures. As we pointed out in June, that is about $460,000 less than last year's. And following that, in your book and on our website, we have the full Schedules A through G, which provide the detail that backs all this up. And we have Schedule B, which now that we've gone through the truth and taxation, has the 4.19 per 100 tax rate, in addition to the street lighting districts, the library, and the FDAT tax. And that's all we have for you today. Mary, did I miss anything? Or do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, member supervisors, county manager, I just want to acknowledge all the hard work that Maren put into putting this budget together for us. It was challenging this year. This was our first year that we conducted our budget hearings through Zoom, which was very interesting, but we got through it. And I just want to thank Maren for all the hard work that she put into this presentation and the schedule.
Thank you, Mary. Good job, Maren.
It's my pleasure.
You ladies are awesome. I'll tell you that right now. So, Tommy, do you have any comments or questions for these ladies?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to echo Mary. I really do appreciate the hard work that this product represents, especially in the times that we've had to put it together through. And really do appreciate the diligence and the hard work that this does represent. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Tommy. Tim?
Yeah, I just appreciate the whole finance department that works with us to help us not only get through this, but understand it, and with the grant writer added to that, the availability that we have for other funds and the funds that you guys reach for is helping the constituents immensely. So thank you very much.
James?
My hat's off to the finance department, Maren particularly. She is an awesome asset for Gila County. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Mary and the whole department, like you have said.
Yeah, they are. You guys are really, really good. I appreciate you listening to me every time I see you asking if we have any money left, so that's good.
It's our privilege to serve you all, and we are very, very grateful to do what we do. And we appreciate the opportunity to present information to you and to hear your feedback. You've been very helpful in the past year helping us help you understand the information, and that's been really, really excellent for all of us.
Appreciate it. And so with our viewers, James, the only thing I would like to throw out there, this $118,000 is every dollar the county's got is in this budget. It shows the rainy day fund, all of that. The whole thing is there. And so hopefully all of our viewers understand that, and then they can go to our website and look at it if they elect to and whatnot. James, do you have something else?
Mr. Chairman, I will point out that there are some very significant things that we have in the budget that we've been in the process of doing them. One is the animal facility that will be built here in Globe. That is well along in the process, and in fact will be getting shortly from the plans that have been developed an amount not to exceed. And before too long, within a few months, we'll be breaking ground for that animal facility here in Globe. The facility, the multi-purpose building in Payson, that will be a tremendous asset for all the citizens in Payson, a community center that people can come to. The plans have pretty much been set of what it will be, and the full set of plans are being developed. It's a couple months further behind. We are looking to break ground sometime in the winter of November or December to be able to break ground for that. But it's an about 11,000 square foot facility that is there for the community and will be a tremendous asset, as I said, up in Payson.
Absolutely.
And so there's also built into this an ability, as we talked a couple weeks ago about our public safety personnel retirement system. There's a flow of money that goes through the budget that's included in the event that we do go forward with that. But that's, as we looked at that, that is over the next 17 years an immediate $7 million savings. And so that is built in, and you as a board are looking for, I know that you're looking for every way to take advantage of the savings that we can for constituents, to help them out and to keep taxes as low as we possibly can. So I thank you for your efforts in supporting that and being able to work forward of saving money.
Well, I appreciate it, James, but we couldn't do it without everybody as a team here, and all the directors helping on expenditures this year really helped too.
Yes.
That was a huge plus, and I really appreciate that. I sometimes wonder if our constituents really have the big picture of what we've been able to do for the county in the last 3.5 years without raising the taxes, you know, and with you ladies in the middle of this, besides all the audits and stuff you guys been doing. I mean, it's been a big load. So hopefully they understand that and can see that. And now with the plan designs on these buildings coming out and getting ready to go, folks will start seeing them come up, and I think they'll take it to heart maybe a little bit more and realize the amount of money we're spending across the county on our constituents and staying at the 4.19%. So, Tim, you want to chime in there with anything?
Oh, I'm good. I said my thank yous, and
You're good. Okay.
I'm good. Yes.
All right, ladies. Thanks for that, and I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd
Do
like
we
to,
have,
It's by resolution.
did we do a public hearing, Mr. Chair? I lost track.
Did I skip that part? Yep. Okay. Thank you, Tommy. There's too many numbers involved there. Okay, I'll open up.
I know.
I'll open up the public hearing. Do we have anybody on YouTube, Dave? Nobody? I'm sure we don't in Payson, and we do not from Jackie either, so I'll close the public hearing part. Now I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 20-07-04, authorizing the adoption of the fiscal year 2021 Gila County budget in the amount of $118,695,298.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the work. Really appreciate it. Okay, moving on to regular agenda items 3A. Information, discussion, action for the public sale of portions of Fulton Avenue, a portion of Central Avenue, and the alley in Block 11 between Victor Street and Tremont Boulevard, all on the map of South Globe, GCR Map 20, Gila County Records, Gila County, Arizona, in the amount of $2,322 from Beverly Tomerlin and $661 from Mark A. and Roberta Schellenberger for Fulton Avenue and a portion of Central Avenue, and the alley in Block 11 between Victor Street and Tremont Boulevard, adjacent to their respective properties. Steve Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. On March 10th, we came before you asking you to consider these roads unnecessary and begin the process to abandon them, which you did. We went through the process. We've received bids from the adjoiners. The bids meet the minimum requirement established by the county on the abandonment of roadways. These roads and alleys have never been built, no reason to ever be built. The subdivision was platted in 1909 before Arizona was a state. So over 100 years we haven't had roads in the area. This will put these public roads back on the tax rolls. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Steve. Tommy?
Mr. Chair, I'm just glad we're cleaning this up, and I want to thank Steve and his crew for doing that. This is just one of those many things that we have that we need to put back on the tax rolls and go on down the road.
Thanks, Tommy. Tim?
Yeah, I have to agree with Tommy. It's great to, at these meetings, to have, roads get put back into taxes and some of these abandoned properties getting put back. So appreciate the diligent work that everybody's doing to help us get some of these abandoned and just dead properties back up and something working with them.
Thanks, Steve. Good job. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I do move to accept a bid in the amount of $2,322 from Beverly Dahlman and Tomerlin, and a bid in the amount of $661 from Mark and Roberta Schellenberger for the purchase of property as stated in the agenda item.
I'll second that.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Steve. Number 4, consent agenda action items. Do either one of you have anything you want to discuss there?
Not me, Mr. Chair.
There's nothing I care to discuss, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Neither do I. So I'd entertain a motion to accept those, approve those.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept consent agenda items A and B.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Number 5, call to the public. Do we have anybody for call to the public on YouTube or anything there? And I'm sure we don't through you, do we, Cheryl?
No, sir.
We good? Okay. All right. Moving on to number 6. Tommy, you have any updates?
I do not, Mr. Chair.
Tim?
Yes, you're on sharing, correct?
Pardon me?
Yes. The things that I've done recently, I met with Steve, Public Works in Omero last Thursday with the NRCS, looking at 8 different waterways to see if they're going to be able to give any funding for us to help mitigate some of the flooding that is going to happen through that Tunnel Basin area. I held a Tunnel Basin call-in meeting and held a Gila call-in meeting. And then also, too, there at the county yard in Pumpkin Center, last week was out with emergency services where there's sand pile and sandbags. And we filled quite a few sandbags for people, and then the sand in the bags are still there. So people that are expecting to have any flooding on their property or around your house, if you're in the waterway, please help yourself to the sand in the bags. If you right now, just by going through NRCS and talking with some of the things going on with that fire and the runoff is going to be horrible out in that Tunnel Basin area. If you're in a waterway and don't have flood insurance, we'd highly recommend that you at least look into it for a year or two, because as much as that country that burnt, we're definitely going to get some water. We're not sure quite how much and where, but you can bet that when we start getting rains that there's a lot of that area that's going to get some very unusual water. And so that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Tim. The other day, I had a meeting in Payson at the Board of Supervisors office. It's on July 9th, and that was on Fossil Creek. In that meeting, there's Chief Gary Morris, Tunnel Search and Rescue Group, the new Forest Service Ranger, Matt Pachorik, to discuss a plan for access into the Fossil Creek area. And basically, it was kind of getting the new ranger up to snuff on the issues, the numbers of rescues, fatalities, and all that's happened in that area. The new ranger was real receptive to listening to all of that, and I think it turned out pretty well. There's a lot of issues down in there. One is the 708 road, and Tommy, you know this well, that we were able to put our folks in thanks to Steve and our public works. That road's kind of nasty, and there's places where it's continuing to be a problem, and so we talked about that. We talked about the other roads, the Plume Road in the bottom and the other trail that goes in on the upper end to the falls. Those are all wrapped up in that area and been closed off to travel for quite some time. But I'm hoping that maybe there's a way with the new Ranger that we can go back into that and revisit those roads and see if there's a way we can at least get them to where they're usable for the rescues. We're already 22 rescues into this year already, and so it doesn't end. There just continues to be lots and lots and lots of people in that hole, and it's hot and nasty, and so those folks are really working hard on that. So Tommy and Tim, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to try and set up a meeting with the new Ranger and with Neil Bosworth and sit down and discuss more about those access routes in there and see if there's something we can do to mitigate that so that those search and rescue folks can at least use them. The other thing we need to look at, Tommy, is that 708 road has the fiber optics coming up into Payson, which right now that's the only fiber optics coming into Payson. And so there's a couple places there. One, it just continues to wash away. Every time it rains heavily, it washes it out and exposes the lines. The other one is up on the top. And 100 years ago, they built up some retaining walls in there to hold that road in place. But over time, those have washed out. And so it just keeps getting to be a problem right there. Maybe there's a chance that digging into broadband and looking at some options, maybe there's a way we can get, or at least look for some grant money to try and stabilize that part of the road to keep from washing that fiber optics totally out. We're kind of getting real close to a point where we're not going to get equipment in it from the top. It isn't going to happen. And so that would mean it's going to come from the bottom, and we could probably still do that, but it's going to be a big, big chore. And if something happens that fiber optic line does wash away and breaks, they're not going to get in there very easily to fix it. It just isn't going to happen unless they come from the bottom, and that's going to take a lot of time. And so there's some real issues there. But I think, Tommy, that we finally have a Ranger that sees the seriousness of it and understands what we're dealing with, I hope. So that was that meeting. After that, I was on the NACO Public Lands Committee conference call on Thursday. This is the meeting that would have happened at the annual conference. They went over quite a bit of stuff and listened to the chief. And I think, Tommy, you were on that call too, right?
I was.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Listen to the chief and everybody talking about the fires. And it seems like, Tommy, that maybe it's the same old thing we've been hearing for the last 2 or 3 years, I think. I kind of got that feeling, but so there wasn't a lot there. But that same day, after that meeting, I had an opportunity to speak to the head of the NRCS office there in Phoenix for our local office, Keisha Tatum, and had a really good talk with her and Dave Byman, I think was his name. Spent about 30-40 minutes on the phone with them and had a real good visit with them. It seems like on these fires, and this, Tim, you need to know too, and even though sometimes they'll go together and see that there's a need for some work in some of these drainages to keep the flooding down or to mitigate it, it seems like maybe they're getting overruled at the higher levels. And so that's something that I believe us as a board and as a county, and especially with the issues that we've had for the last 4 years, we probably need to take that to heart and really start pushing at the higher ups. Philip Jacquet was on the ground that same day. I was talking to Keisha with Homer and Steve. I think you were there too, probably. And you know, you put these guys on the ground and they come back with an assessment and the needs of what needs to happen, and for the chance of it getting overrode or outvoted at the Washington level doesn't make sense to me, you know. And one of the things I asked Keisha about, because I was kind of interested, I mean, do you guys have money for emergency mitigation on this? Is there money set aside for this kind of work to happen? Yeah, there's money set aside for it, but it doesn't mean you'll get it. Even though we push it or we see the need and it goes up the chain, it could get cut off. And so I kind of see that us as a county, with the fact that every year it seems like we have these doggone fires, that's just a real problem, that we really need to start pushing at the higher up, probably at the Patty Powers level and us included, to really get the ear of our senators and congressmen and start trying to figure something out here and see what we can do. But talking to Keisha and Dave that day, it was a good conversation. And I realized that I didn't get the feeling that they're there to hinder us or anything like that. They were waiting for the assessments to come in and all of that from the ground. So that was good.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Tommy.
when you were meeting with Neil Bosworth, were you able to ask him about what Philip Jacquet pointed out to us, that in fact the Forest Service has the responsibility of their piece of that watershed repair? Were you able to discuss with him that at all? And if not, when you had said that you had met with him and the ranger, or you were getting ready to,
I'm getting
is it
ready.
time that we had met?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to, Tommy. And I haven't talked to Neil lately. Actually, he's on vacation. He's not even around right now.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
when he gets back, I'm going to put that meeting together with him and Matt and sit down and visit and just see what the deal is there.
Well, it might be time to have he, Matt, and what's the ranger's name in Tono?
And Tano is Kelly Jardine.
That's right. What if we had a meeting with the three of them and talked about all of the concerns that we have in both of those ranger districts right now?
I don't know if we have that much time, Tommy. That could take a while. But no, there is a need for that kind of a meeting, Tommy. And the Fossil Creek one seems to be like the fires are a high priority too. Those fires are going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah, they are. Both of them are just the same.
Yeah. And so
they're different, but they're no less important than the other one.
Yes, and see, we've only dealt with half the problem on that fire so far, and that is the flooding issues. We haven't touched the infrastructure
That's
issues
right.
that haven't been and probably won't be replaced by the Forest Service, and that's going to impact us as a county. And so we got a lot of work to do going forward. But
Well, and that's what Philip Jacquet was mentioning, was that, well, NRCS can do certain things that by law USFS is supposed to be doing, taking care of their side of things on the forest, and they never have.
Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of work
They
to
never
do.
have.
We definitely have a lot of work to do coming up real soon on all this. And fire season's just getting started. It's not over yet.
Yep.
And so it could be a really long summer. This afternoon, I'm going to be in Hayden, and I'm going to be presenting a check from Resolution to the senior center down there. Resolution was gracious enough through this COVID stuff and everything. They came up with $50,000 to give to the senior center in Hayden to help with some of their issues down there. Is really, really generous of them to do that, and I really appreciate them stepping forward and helping us. I mean, as you guys all know, since we've been in office, every year we've kind of scrambled just to keep that senior center going, and so this is going to be a big plus. I'll be down there to present that for resolution, and I look forward to doing that. Also, resolution had contributed to the Cobra Valley Youth Club $12,000 to help with expenses that the club was unable to do fundraising because of the COVID right now. And so then they also contributed $20,000 to the Gila Safe House, the domestic violence shelter, to help with that extra expenses. It seems to me like these guys have really stepped up to the plate this year and really jumped in there. I know that they've had their truck down there. Kathy and Sherry and Jazz were down there handing out boxes of food that came from Resolution. Resolution had offered to send water to San Carlos in their time of need here a while back. I believe they were even in Camp Verde handing out food not very long ago. So they've really been making the rounds and has done a lot of work. So my hat's off to Resolution right now, and they seems like they've got a big interest in the communities, which I'm really glad of. With that,
Mr. Chair,
yes, ma'am.
having said that, don't you think we need to have a letter from this board thanking Resolution, something that they can hang on the wall or whatever, for all the help they're giving us in all the different sectors?
I think that's an excellent idea, Tommy. You know, a letter to them or a plaque even, thanking them from us, because
You bet.
they
You
have
bet.
helped out a
Because they put
ton.
a lot of money. They put a lot of money into areas that really helped, Mr. Chair.
Yep, they have. So good idea, Tommy. I appreciate that. Do either one of you have anything else, or are we good? James?
Mr. Chairman, I did want to give kind of a summary of the financial status of the county after we finished our fiscal year June 30, that there's some adjustments and some things that still have to be recorded, but we are in the black for the year. So thanks to the finance department, working with departments and watching expenditures, that we end up in the black for the year. And the other, just to note that the COVID impact for our sales tax, that we are up just slightly for our county excise tax, but that the state shared sales tax, the amounts that we received in May, which was reflective of March collections, was we're again about $110,000 below what we received a year ago. And then our June receipts from state shared excise tax, which was April collections, $135,000. So in the 2 months of actual March and April collections, we're $245,000, about $250,000 short on excise tax, state shared excise tax revenues. So it's going to be ongoing. That at the state, they are predicting a couple year that this is going to take to get over completely. So.
Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't, but you know, everything I'm seeing says that too. So.
But I think, Mr. Chairman, that we had a couple months ago, we had a discussion in a work session about how this is going to impact it, what it was going to do to us, our revenues, and from what we projected then, had our discussion about, has looked to me like what is happening. So I think we're on target of the things that we talked about, the shortage of revenues, and what we're going to have to do to address those, that we are addressing those in this budget that was adopted today, and the things that we're going to have to do to make sure that we remain healthy as a county, financially healthy. One last thing, I wanted to acknowledge Supervisor Humphrey and getting the crew out to Tunnel Basin to have a sandbag event and to help out those most vulnerable down in that area and help to protect them, because as Supervisor Humphrey noted, that it's coming, and all that we can do so, acknowledge Supervisor Humphrey and having that event to protect those that need to be protected most. So thank you.
Yeah, a lot of that came from emergency services. Carl Melford is excellent in reaching for money and getting to do things, and he even had Carmen Casillas to bring a lunch out for people that were filling sandbags. So that a lot of that hats off goes to Carl for his interest and enthusiasm in our emergency service department.
Supervisor Humphrey, you're up there leading it all, so thank you.
Okay, with that, if there's nothing else, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you all. Thank you, Basin. Thanks to everybody on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you.